back to Assessment Joining the Dots, our monthly podcast covering all things assessment. Thank you so much for tuning in, and it's great to have you with us today. We are, of course, GL Assessment or GL Education, depending on where you are in the world. We're a Renaissance company, and we're the leading providers of formative standardised assessments in the UK and Ireland, and we also work with schools in over 100 countries worldwide. Our aim is to support schools through a number of different avenues in gaining the very best from their assessment data to inform evidence-based decisions to ultimately improve outcomes for the learners that we teach. Our podcast aims to discuss all things assessment and address some of those prevalent topics from the world of education. So, whether you use our assessments or not, we do hope that this podcast is for you. My name is Sadie Clayton, and I am a former primary teacher of around 10 years, and I'm now part of the customer experience team here at GL. A huge focus for our team is about helping schools to utilise their GL assessment data to its full potential. We deliver insights through webinars, one-to-one data consultations, through our free online CPD accredited training, and through our bespoke training offerings. Now, I'm extremely excited to introduce our new segment, Heard It in the Staff Room, where we share your voice notes of the hot topics of conversation, which may have created a bit of a buzz during PPA meetings at the end of the day over a pile of unmarked books and those busy break and lunch times, when of course you're not on duty. In last month's episode, we'd asked you to get in touch and let us know your plans for the summer. What are you doing to unwind, and what motto will you be bringing forward into the autumn term of 2024? We'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that has contributed so far.
Hi, I'm Becky Hawes, the CEO of Cadmus Inclusive. For this summer holiday, I'm really looking forward to spending time with family and friends and walking my dogs. I'm also looking forward to, but not really, doing all those awful jobs like cleaning out your cutlery drawer and sorting out your socks, putting lids on your Tupperware. And looking forward to next year, I'm thinking very much about Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. So it's all about remembering and refreshing and refocusing that I'm there to make a difference to the tiny humans that we support so that they can have the bestest, brightest tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Ryan Beattie from Torquay Academy, and this summer I can't wait to spend lots of time with my family. Really looking forward to that. And my motto going into the autumn term will be, it'll be hard work pays off. That'll be my motto.
Hi, my name is Yogita and I'm a primary school teacher in Hayes, and I am an advocate for mental health and being able to have some downtime away from the classroom. The importance to be able to shut off. We give the children brain breaks. We need those brain breaks as well. And also to give ourselves life experiences, to go out there, see this amazing world, which we can then obviously go back and share in our classrooms. So this summer I will be getting an Airbnb somewhere along the amazing British coastline, taking the fresh air, go walking, possibly some cycling, and dabble in some creative pursuits, cheek a bit of drawing and possibly some photography, to recharge and come back on full power and with a smile.
Thank you once again for all of your contributions. It's always so lovely to hear from you. And we're looking forward to sharing more of your Heard It in the Staff Room voice notes later in today's episode. Now, I may be working outside of the classroom, but it's more crucial than ever before to keep our fingers on the pulse with the hot topics within the educational climate, knowing the challenges and barriers that school staff are facing today. And in this month's episode, we're focusing on a topic which is certainly top of the agenda, and that's staff wellbeing. Now, this is a topic which is very close to my heart and an area of responsibility I had during my time in school. Today, we're delighted to be joined by Kathryn Wilson, who is wrapping up her first year in headship in a primary school in Gloucestershire. And we're also joined by Jordan Connell, who is an ECT in a large secondary school in Peterborough. Today, we'll be discussing some of the key issues surrounding teacher wellbeing and focusing on the stats uncovered from the TES School Wellbeing Report 2024 UK. Hi, Jordan and Kathryn. Firstly, well done. You've made it through the end of your first year of headship, Kathryn, and your first year of teaching as an ECT, Jordan. How are you both doing?
Exhausted. Yeah, clinging on in there. We've got a couple of weeks left. Not too bad.
Celebrations all round. I can see the future here. So yeah, how about you, Jordan? How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I would kind of echo that. It's that final slog just towards the summer, but it is, we're nearly there, and it is just pushing through now, really.
Absolutely. And leaning onto that, thank you so much for joining us today and finding this time in your very, very busy schedules. Just for the purposes of our listeners today, could you take a moment just to introduce yourself and let us know what your role is within the school, and maybe a bit of background about yourself as well?
So I'm Kathryn Wilson. I'm currently the head at Randwick Primary School in Stroud. I've been teaching for 24 years, I think. Trained in Cardiff, worked in Newport for a little while before I moved over here, and spent a large majority of my teaching career at a school in Tewkesbury.
Amazing.
Moved to an inner city school in Gloucester, and then from there I've moved to here and taken on the headship.
Thank you. Quite a diverse, I guess, approach there, and lots of exposure to different areas of education, but certainly on a really, really exciting journey with headship now. So well done for completing the first year, getting that crossed off. I'm sure it feels like a big achievement. And over to you, Jordan.
Yeah, so I'm Jordan Connell. I am a food tech teacher in a secondary school in Peterborough, and I have just about to finish my first year as a teacher. Before I actually got into teaching, I'd actually worked in primary school. I did a little bit of time in a primary school as TA, worked as an early years educator as well in a nursery, and then sort of shifted towards secondary, where I then actually worked as a TA and a learning support mentor as well in some inner city schools. So I actually worked in Nottingham for a little while whilst I was studying, and then ended up deciding I wanted to stay in school, so did my teacher training, and here we are.
Here we are. Well done to both of you. And again, Jordan, quite a varied kind of entry approach there to the teaching world. So variety is the spice of life, they say. So really, really positive outlook there. Now, today, obviously, the focus of the podcast is all about staff and teacher wellbeing. And often we don't get enough time to reflect, especially when we are in school and we've got mountains of paperwork and books to mark and parents to speak to and so on. So I guess let's start with the positives. What is your key positive takeaway from this year? We'll start with you, Jordan, if that's okay.
Yeah, so to be honest, actually, when I sort of sat and think about that, I've taught over 800 students this year. Being a subject where I only teach each class once a week, I've taught 800 different students this year, and I just sitting there thinking about that, I think is just amazing how many students that I've seen and worked with, and the impact I've had on so many of them, for me is brilliant. That's the biggest thing from this year for me.
Yeah, definitely an achievement. Have you learnt all their names, Jordan? That's my question.
Well, I'm getting there. Every now and again, I do sit there and go, "Oh, I'm not 100% sure." But yeah, like I say, I'm getting there. But summer's coming, and then we start again next year with new classes again.
Absolutely, ever-evolving cycle. Thank you, Jordan. And how about you, Kathryn? What's your key takeaway from this year?
I think mine is actually my amazing team that I've got here. We're a really small school. We've got 85 children, so we're quite a small school. I still teach as a head as well, because that's how we can manage our tiny little budget that we have. But actually, the team that I've been able to come into and that we've created this year has just been amazing. Everybody just pulls together, and if one person is down, everybody else supports each other, supports that person. People pick up very quickly if you're not quite right, including me as the head as well, which I've found where you kind of move up SLT, things change a little bit. And working in bigger schools, it's quite different. But actually, our team is amazing. And I think for me, on a personal level, I had to really remember that I can't do it all. And actually, the people that are around me have amazing strengths, and I need to lean on them at different points and make sure I utilise their skills as well, because they are as equally qualified as I am.
Definitely. What a great reflection, Kathryn. Thank you. And I think what you said really kind of struck a chord with me in the sense that I think in teaching, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that it's all on your shoulders. And actually, the importance of that support network is vital in everything. So that actually leads us very, very nicely onto the kind of key topic for today, which is obviously all about staff wellbeing. And today we'd like to take some time to discuss some of the key facts released from the TES School Wellbeing Report 2024 UK. And that survey had responses from almost 7,000 school staff from different sectors and from different role perspectives. Some of the figures from that report are surprising, and some are just confirming what we already know about what's happening in education. And it is important that we contextualise some of those statistics that we'll mention today with this quote from the report, which says, "Many respondents voiced concerns with the system more broadly, placing blame with issues rooted more deeply in the sector." And some of those key issues presented include things, as you've already mentioned, Kathryn, budgets, staff shortages, widening gaps for children from disadvantaged backgrounds, workload and support. Again, something that's already been brought up today. Now, it might not be news to you that workload is one of the main challenges school staff face. And some of the key statistics from the TES School Wellbeing Report 2024 around workload outline that 61% of the near 7,000 respondents said that their workload isn't manageable. And when we drill down into that data and start to look at kind of areas of responsibilities, SENCOs, 78% of SENCOs that responded in this survey said that they feel their workload is not manageable. And middle leaders, 71% feel that their workload is not manageable. Given the concerns outlined from the report and from what we see in the educational climate, we've got a statistic here, which is 74% of staff who took part in the TES survey had contemplated leaving the profession entirely in the past year. Kathryn, does that statistic surprise you?
Unfortunately, no, it doesn't. Even when I trained a long time ago, even when I trained, our course started with 183 people. I think by the time we graduated, we had about 90. And from people that I'm still in contact with, I'm a rarity to still be teaching, after 24 years. I remember when I was at school, the primary school teachers seemed to be there forever. There wasn't that high turnover of staff. They saw whole families through, and it seemed to be very much like that. And I think having worked with a lot of ECTs, being their tutor and their mentor over the last 10 or so years, you can see those pressures as soon as they're coming into teaching. And I think because of the external pressures that we have from Ofsted, obviously I didn't want to say the dreaded word, but from Ofsted, but a rising send that we are now getting with the children. Budgets are a massive issue. The schools are drastically underfunded for us to try and put the support in that we do need for those SEND children. We don't have that, so it makes it very difficult. So there are a lot of pressures on those teachers as soon as they come into the profession. And I think it can potentially sound like a lovely prospect with the holidays and things like that. And I think that's how a lot of people still view our profession. Is that, you finish at 3:30? It can't be that hard.
Oh, it's such a shame. I thought those comments had stopped, Kathryn, but they're disheartening, isn't it?
No, they haven't. And it's like, all the holidays and things like that. And I think people don't realise actually what goes into teaching and how much time everybody puts in and how much it can, if you allow it, take over your life. Mm-hmm. And I think getting that balance is really hard, and you are desperate to impress, particularly when you first start teaching, and it can become overwhelming quite quickly. So unfortunately, I'm not surprised by those statistics at all.
Really interesting insights. Thank you, Kathryn. Now, Jordan, obviously you're new to the profession. Do you find those statistics surprising or scary, or how do you take those statistics when you read them, because they are everywhere?
I think it's one of those things, you don't even have to have been a teacher or involved in education to hear that some of the problems that happen with things like workload, staff turnover, people not wanting to stay in the profession. But when you kind of put a figure to it, it's quite scary and shocking to go, that's real. This is real people who that is what they do. That is their job, telling you, that they don't want to carry on doing it. They're considering leaving it. And I think, being an early career teacher and, hopefully in for a long time now, there's staff going, oh yeah, I wouldn't like to be joining it now if I were you. And it's kind of just that accepted message that, it's going to be hard. And it is going to be hard, but it is, like I say, quite shocking to see actual figures going, this is the situation we're in.
Definitely. What was kind of really interesting about what you said there, Jordan, is you don't have to be on the inside to see and know about those figures. And I think that's what's really important is, like you said, Kathryn, those comments about, you get the holidays, you finish at 3:00, especially as a primary teacher, my background, from my family, all I get all the time was, all you do is colour, which we know is not accurate at all. Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because actually, when we look at those people that join education, it's a vocation. You do it for the children. You're not there for the holidays. You're not there for the money. So really, really interesting insights. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, both of you. Really enjoyed that conversation, and I could certainly speak to both of you all day, but I know that you've probably got 101 other things that you need to go away and do now. So I'm going to leave our listeners with a question and an answer from both of you, if you will. What will you be doing over your summer break to take care of yourself before we dive into that autumn term ahead? Kathryn, tell us all about your summer, please.
I've got 3 boys. I've got 3 sons who don't like to sit down, I have to say. So I think the majority of my time is going to be spent running around after them and doing things with them that I don't normally get time to do during term time, which is very sad to say. And I have got a very cheeky little weekend away booked with lots of friends going to Portugal at the end of towards the end of the holidays. That keeps me going and keeps me sane, I think.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Very, very jealous of the Portugal trip. And how about you, Jordan? What are you doing over the summer?
So I've actually just moved into my first house. So actually getting everything sorted for that and getting fully moved in and all kitted out. So I'm looking forward to the summer for that. And seeing family and friends that, you just don't always get the time during the week. And, I think that's the big thing for me, taking that time to relax, hopefully getting some nice weather, although I'm not 100% sure on that at the moment.
That's why I'm going to Portugal.
Yeah, leave the country to get some nice weather. So no, just seeing family and friends and just getting that chance to relax and unwind.
Oh, well, listen, both of you, a huge well done for this year. Thank you so much for joining us today. And get back in touch. Let us know how the summer goes. Kathryn, let us know how well the tan goes. And Jordan, if you're staying in the UK, I'll be with you trying to get some form of sunshine on my skin. But thank you all so much. Really, really enjoyed that conversation. And take care, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're heading back to listen to your voice notes in more editions of Heard It in the Staff Room. Again, a big thank you to all of you for getting in touch.
I'm Graham Orr. I teach at Pilgrim's Pre-Prep School and I currently teach Year 1. I am really looking forward to the summer just to unwind, have a nice holiday in the sun, just be able to catch up with people, go for a few nice drinks, go for some nice long walks in the country, read a book, and just try and chill and get a bit of calm back because everything has been quite chaotic at work and everywhere else. And moving forward to next year, I'm quite good at prioritizing things, but everything is just so busy that actually I'm thinking I need to really think what is essential and what isn't. And from the wellbeing side of things, think about, well, actually, if I am overwhelmed with the amount of things that are going on, then actually the 5 and 6 year olds that I teach that have such high demands, when I compare it back to when I was a child, like there's such high expectations for them. I really want to work on getting that balance of, yes, teaching them the best I can, getting them to achieve academically, but really, really considering their well-being as well, and try to just put some little times in, some calm times, some mini yoga sessions, just parts of the day, just to bring a bit of calm and just everything into perspective, and not make it so pressured, because they are children at the end of the day, and that should never be forgotten, because they can have a long time being adults and having targets and having work, having so much to do. So that would be what I hope that I bring into the next year. I'll spend a year's time and see if I put that into place.
Hi, this is Jeannie Valley from Radisson Park School in Calgary. I'm looking forward to my vacation in France this summer, and my life motto, as well as I say it to the students all the time: in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Have a great summer.
Thank you to everyone who has sent in voice notes for this month's episode. It's been so lovely to hear your exciting plans for the summer and how you aim to take care of yourself in preparation for that new academic year ahead. I have to say that upon listening, I'm sat here feeling slightly consumed by wanderlust after hearing all of your travel plans. Now, as our first series of Assessment Joining the Dots comes to a close, we're calling on you, our listeners, for future voice notes for more of your Heard It in the Staff Room editions. Do get in touch to let us know the hot topics in your staff rooms, your thoughts around key updates in the educational world, or even burning questions you'd like to gain some insight on from one of our future guests. To get involved, all you need to do is to send us a voice note on WhatsApp with your contribution to 07917 516 515. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Assessment Joining the Dots, and thank you for tuning in throughout the year. It's been fascinating to talk to Jordan and Kathryn today, hearing their perspectives as they navigate the waters on their journeys through education. If you'd like any more information from us, as always, please head to our training and support site. And the address for that is support.gl-assessment.co.uk or support.gl-education.com, again, depending on where you are in the world. As the podcast does come to a close for the summer break, we wish you a very restful holiday, and we look forward to having you tune in again in September. If you have any topics or themes you'd like us to cover in the series ahead, please do get in touch. You can tweet us using the handle @GL_assessment or @GL_education, and email us if you'd like to know more or contribute. We'd love to hear from you. The email address is podcast@gl-assessment.co.uk. Please do follow and rate our podcast, share with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to be notified when new episodes are available. You can also check out the Renaissance Space podcast from our friends at Renaissance. Join us again in September. Have a lovely break, and thanks again for listening. Hello, it's GL here. We would love to hear your views on the Assessment Joining the Dots podcast, and we'd be very grateful if you could take a few minutes to give us your feedback by following the link to our survey. You'll find this in the episode description on your device. All feedback is welcome, and it will help us to ensure that this podcast meets your needs.